Not a very easy schedule either.
No. And is Blake Shapen the starter for Mississippi State?
I believe Blake Shapen is the starter. That's a transfer from Baylor, is it not?
I think so. I wanted to say that he was there last year, but I can't remember.
Was he the one that got hurt and you end up having oh, I can't remember his name now, but you had that backup come in that gave Mississippi State some life. They just
Against
couldn't stop
Tennessee, wasn't it?
anybody.
I don't know. Yeah, I think so. It wasn't Taylon Green. That's Arkansas's guy. Who? I don't know. I can't
Who-
find.
Yeah, whoever it is not on the roster anymore. He transferred
No.
out.
Okay. Because I was like, the only other quarterback I'm seeing is Camario Taylor, number one. But I know he wasn't the guy last year. Like, I don't think he was the guy last year. So we're gonna go on the assumption that Blake Shapen is the starter. I think.
Yeah.
I think that's a fair assumption.
Yeah, I believe he's going to be the starter, and not a bad quarterback.
No.
He had a decent
If
season last
anything, he
year before
gives
he
you
got hurt.
stability in the room, right? So,
Yeah,
but like you mentioned, again, not so easy of a schedule. Looks very similar, honestly, to Kentucky's. If we're being honest, I mean, first right off the bat, you see Tennessee, Florida, Texas, Georgia, Ole Miss. I mean, that's five of the very familiar foes that Kentucky is facing. Mississippi State obviously doing the same thing. Whew. They start out with Southern Miss at Southern Miss, and honestly, that's not a cupcake. But
yeah, and don't forget, Northern Illinois last year knocked off Notre Dame. I
that
mean,
that was Notre Dame's fault, not Northern Illinois.
it was absolutely.
But yes.
Yeah, I'll start us off with
All
this
right,
schedule here.
let's see it.
And what about this at the beginning of the season? Going to Southern Miss. You're traveling to Hattiesburg, Mississippi. What are we doing, Mississippi State?
Well, to be fair, they get the next 4 games at home. I mean, I don't know.
Does it help? Because
To be
personally,
honest with
I
you,
don't think so.
though, I mean Tennessee in these mutual freaking games to start the year. I mean, to me, I think it's just as bad. Like I don't like mutual games week one, and I
But
don't see a difference in going on the road. I guess I don't know.
but Tennessee is not going to go to a group of 5 school.
No, I mean
That's not something Tennessee's going to do. Now, a Power 4 school?
maybe Mississippi
Yeah.
State's just made it to the level where Southern Miss is paying them to come be an easy win. I'm joking.
Fair enough. They do start off the season with the win
Hey,
Southern Miss,
all
even though it
right,
is on the road.
we're starting good
Uh,
here.
Arizona State, obviously coming off of the college football playoff appearance last year, they are without Cam Scatterboo this year. But I cannot remember the quarterback's name.
Arizona State's good though.
Yes, they're good. They're going to be good again
Like
this year.
just to put it point blank, like they're going to be top dog in the Big 12.
Yeah, they're going to be at the top of the conference. So that's going to be a loss for Mississippi State in week 2.
I agree.
You do get wins against Alcorn State and Northern Illinois to start off the season 3-1. If you're
Dude,
Mississippi State, if you're
you
coming
couldn't
out of
ask for a
there,
better start, right?
if you're coming out of there at 3-1 to start the season, you're feeling pretty good about yourself.
Dare I say I'm shaking at my knees
If
as
I'm
a Tennessee
Tennessee,
fan. Yeah, I mean, it's a trap game, bro. Come on now.
I was going to say. So I am going to go ahead and I'm going to throw this up here. Tennessee gets a win in this game,
It's
but
going to be ugly as crap.
But we all know that Tennessee under Josh Heupel always loses a game on the road that he's not supposed to lose.
And last year we
was
said there
Arkansas,
was no way it was going to be Arkansas, right? That's why I
and
said
it was Arkansas.
Oklahoma. So I'm not saying there's no way it's going to be Mississippi State because it's probably going to be.
If it's going to happen, it will be Mississippi State because,
Yep.
as we've already said, Tennessee's not losing to Kentucky.
Yeah, and you don't count Florida because you haven't won there.
But that's a game that I'm not going to say Tennessee should win.
Because because of I'm not even going to say previous, but past 2 decades of results in the swamp. So,
but this is absolutely a game Tennessee should win.
yes,
I think they will win. But if there is a letdown spot this year for Tennessee, I think it's in this
100%.
spot.
It's 100% Mississippi State. Yep.
Yeah.
All right, cool. But we got the win on your record. All right.
Yeah. Travel to Texas A&M. I think Texas A&M is going to have it rolling this year under Marcel Reed and Mike Elko. So that's going to be a loss for Mississippi State. Now, I will say, I do think that this is a great spot for the bye week for Mississippi State. before you go into another gauntlet of a stretch. I mean, you get Tennessee and Texas A&M before the bye week, but then you got on the road against Florida, at home against Texas, at Arkansas, and at home against Georgia. That's a gauntlet, man. Um, I do think that you can give Florida a little something on the road for about a half, maybe going into three quarters. But I think ultimately Florida is too much for Mississippi State, and Florida gets a win at home. Texas, I don't think that it's going to be much of a ball game. I think that Texas ends up getting a big home victory against Mississippi State. This Arkansas game here is intriguing.
It sure is.
It's very intriguing.
Because where are they going to be at?
Exactly.
With Sam Pittman.
That's exactly what I'm looking at. So, and Arkansas does not have the easiest stretch before they play against Mississippi State. Their stretch, October 4th, they have a bye week before they play against Tennessee on the road. But they do get the next three at home. You got Texas A&M at home and then Auburn at home before playing against Mississippi State. So not the easiest stretch, but also not the hardest of stretches. I am going to go ahead and I'm going to give Arkansas a win there because I think that Sam Pittman, Taylor Green, that group right there, they're a little bit more put together than Mississippi State is at this point in the season. I also feel like as good as Jeff Lebby is as an offensive head coach, they've just got too much to work on defense at this point in time. Until you can prove to me that you can stop somebody on defense, I'm not going to give you some of these wins that I think you could pull out if you had a defense. That Georgia game, it's not going to be very close. Georgia with a big victory. Missouri at the very end of this stretch. I don't know where Missouri's going to be at this point in the season. I don't even know who their quarterback is. But I do think that Eli Drinkwitz he's definitely had more success there over the last couple of years.
And he's been a little bit more stable. I mean, he's been a little bit more consistent.
Yes, he's got more talent on that roster as well. And that's why I'm ultimately going to give Missouri the win in this one. And it's on the road in Como. And especially the later that you get into November, it's hard to win in Como because it gets cold there. Then you get a bye week before the Egg Bowl.
Ooh. Are they ending on an 8-0 shot? Come on.
I'm gonna give Mississippi State a win there.
That would be the ultimate Lincoln joke.
Exactly. Now, I haven't taken a deep dive into Ole Miss's schedule yet because we will get there eventually. But does Lane Kiffin not always have a letdown spot somewhere? Last year was Kentucky.
Is this your shot in the dark?
This is my shot in the dark.
Like my Florida to Florida State was last year?
Yeah.
Because remember when I predicted that and everybody thought I was crazy, and then Florida State went 2-10.
Yeah.
It ended up being a really easy pick, but I feel like this is your Mississippi State has absolutely nothing to play for, but yet somehow, because it's the Egg Bowl, they just find a way.
Yeah, and Lane Kiffin always has a letdown spot somewhere. And last year, you could actually say that Ole Miss had two letdown spots last year.
Yeah, Kentucky.
You definitely had the Kentucky one. Then you had Florida at the end of the year.
Florida.
Whenever Jackson Dart threw.
Wasn't even a night game. And they lost to Florida.
And wasn't it like Jackson Dart threw 3 interceptions in his final 5?
Yeah, they had every chance in the world to win the game. He had so many second opportunities. He had a third and a fourth opportunity and kept doing the same thing. And that's valid. All right, so 4-8 is what you have, the Mississippi State Bulldogs. What is your ceiling and floor with this team?
So I think the floor, I think it is 2-10. I think you lose to Ole Miss, obviously, and then I think you drop one of Southern Miss or Northern Illinois for a 2-10, just absolute train wreck. Here is the bottom of the barrel floor for Mississippi State. But as far as the ceiling goes, you could shock Arizona State in week 2. I think Arizona State is a fantastic team, but could they still be figuring some things out in week 2? We saw Arizona State last year against Mississippi State. They didn't play all that good, but they figured some things out later down the road. Could this be that spot that Mississippi State catches them and gets a win? So I think that they could possibly start off 4-0 on the season. I've already mentioned this is the trap game spot for Tennessee. I could put Mississippi State as starting off the season at 5-0 at the absolute best case scenario. I do think they'd lose to Texas A&M. Regardless, Florida, I'm gonna say a loss there. Um, you never know coming off a bye week, but I'm going to still say a loss there. Texas is a loss. I can see them picking up a win against Arkansas and against Missouri. So when you add that up, you got 5, 6. I'm going to say 7-5 for them as well. Is the ceiling for this team, and you've got to consider. I would consider 5-7 an absolute success for Jeff Lebby when you consider what they've got on the schedule, as well as what he's had to do while being there at Mississippi State, having to rebuild after the unfortunate loss of Mike Leach, and then the just stupid in-house hire of
the defensive coordinator.
Yeah, I can't even remember his name now. But I think that if you go 5-7 this year at Mississippi State, that is a success. 7-5, you would be ecstatic with. That's what I've got my ceiling as for Mississippi State.
Jeff Lebby, the same kind of coaching style as Josh Heupel. Can he scrap together a 6-6 season? That would be something to watch for.
If he has any sort of defense that can stop anybody, I think that they can sneak up and they can beat a couple of teams on this schedule. But that's the thing. Do they have any sort of defense that can stop anybody? That was the problem against Florida. They were able to, put up points against Florida last year. They just couldn't stop Florida.
Yeah, right on. Well, all right, wipe the board. Here we go. One at a time.
Yeah, I do wish there was an easier way.
No, you're good. You're good. It ain't a big deal. Let's see. I'm gonna go kind of the exact same as you to start the game. I mean, Southern Miss I do have as a win. Arizona State I have as a loss. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. Arizona State coming off a playoff run. They're going to be solid again this year. Alcorn State and Northern Illinois, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt just to give them a 3-1 start going into or hosting Knoxville, going into the Tennessee game. I do think they dropped that one. I hope they dropped that one. And then they get to go to Kyle Field, Texas A&M. Man, it looks a lot like yours, and I'm so sorry, but like, I just don't see another way. I mean, it is loss here. It's a loss, Florida. It's a win against I'm joking. It is definitely a loss against Texas. Boy, would that shake up something if they lost or if they beat Texas. Arkansas, again, you hit it. Very intriguing game. I'm giving Arkansas the benefit of the doubt, but I could absolutely see them. Beating Arkansas, especially if Sam Pittman doesn't work out. But for the sake of my prediction, I'm giving them a loss. I'm giving them a loss to Georgia as well. And here's where mine gets a little different. I've actually got them beating Missouri, and that's a true, like, that's not me just trying to switch it up. I have them losing to Ole Miss to end the year, but I don't know. Missouri to have what they had last year and underachieved.
Yeah,
and they lost a lot on the D line. They lost their quarterback. They lost their best wide receiver. You could clearly tell they couldn't replace the running back. I think they just lost their best kicker too, the thicker kicker. I just don't know where Missouri goes and if they underperform again. And I think Mississippi State, a lot like for a Tennessee fan, for Missouri, Mississippi State is going to be a trap game for them, and I could see them falling into it. So I do have Mississippi State going 4-8 on the year. I think their best case scenario is they beat Arkansas, they beat Tennessee, not necessarily because they're better than Tennessee, but because they get that scenario where Tennessee chokes on the road at night. Because I think it's already confirmed that the Tennessee-Mississippi State game is an evening game, whether it's 3:30 or 7:30 or 8:30. So I think they beat Arkansas, they beat Tennessee, but I think as far as a ceiling goes,
you think it's 6-6?
I mean, I'll give them Arizona State. I don't see them beating Arizona State, but I'll give them Arizona State because it's early in the year. You never know. So I will go 7-5 on ceiling with Arkansas, Tennessee, Arizona State. But floor, I gotta go 1-11.
1-11.
I could see them
So
dropping
you think they could lose to both Southern Miss and Northern Illinois?
I mean,
Because
if we're
I'm
talking floor, yes. For the
so
reasons you kind
I'm
of
assuming,
mentioned.
yeah, I'm assuming both of us think that they're going to beat Alcorn State. I mean, FCS opponent,
Yes,
that
yes.
one should be a win.
But Southern Miss, I mean, can. I mean, if Mississippi State has a bad game, whatever. They can. It's early in the season. You never know. And then Northern Illinois is just on the. Well, I mean, what you mentioned that I kind of passed off is they did beat Notre Dame last year. So, I mean, they have the belief in themselves that they play their best game. They can beat Mississippi State probably pretty easily. So, yeah, I mean, if we're talking floor, Mississippi State 1-11, ceiling 7-5. That'll be the biggest, I think, in my opinion, throughout the entire series that we do this. This will be the biggest range that I have. But because I don't like doing that. I feel like if I'm doing that, it's almost like a cop out. But 1-11, I could see if they just really are not that good this year. That's
Yeah,
it for my.
that could be the biggest range. If I'm thinking off the top of my head, I think that there's one other team, and I'm not going to spoil it, but I think there's one other team that could have a wider range of
Oklahoma.
success to possible just absolute crap the bed type of season. But we'll see whenever we get there.
It's got to be Oklahoma.
Oklahoma could be one of them.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's got to be Oklahoma because I mean it's Brent Venables' paycheck type year. It could also be really bad.